I'm from South Africa in Cape Town, and we are presenting an exploration of employee and organizational dynamics in a flexible workplace, and we're developing a framework. So a bit of abstract, the background, some challenging issues during the intra-COVID-19 period where individuals and organizational adaptation to new work practices to sustain the best levels of worker and morale during productivity. We all understood that a lot of people did not know how to work from home. So the purpose of the study was to provide a detailed perspective of how people and organizations dynamics should work during flexible workplaces, and we created a framework for this and by post-pandemic as well. The design and methodology approach was a non-empirical research which was conducted using a review of existing empirical evidence. The reason for this was during COVID, we couldn't collect data because of the lockdown. Our resultant findings, improved productivity was regarded as a remote work again, and the merit of employee motivation and job satisfaction are deemed forecasters for prime organizational performance, with the consideration that maintaining and supporting an operational and efficient and strengthened organization work culture should be an organizational aim. And the reason for this is a lot of people are still working from home even after the lockdown period during COVID-19. Introduction here. So post the pandemic landscape, flexible work practices and work from home as a methodology will remain a practice and are exposed to accelerate as there's been an irrefutable shift from the work landscape. And we also see this in higher educations where we try and do our lectures from home as well when students cannot make it to campus during, let's say, earthquakes or storms or tsunamis. So it was a good thing. So these monumental changes and the adaptation and modification of the work processes resulted in challenges in companies because some companies did not know how to deal with working from home and flexible work hours. So the modification of a home-based office with the incorporation of home and work life and the prevalence of social isolation, because when you're at home, you work in isolation with no colleagues around you. So that needs a lot of adjustments. So this study evaluated the consequence or the concept of flexible work practices and how the company must sort of change the work culture. The materials and methods that we used non-empirical research that was conducted through a review of the thousands of articles that's out there. And this is a non-structured analysis with the main intent to evaluate the research concepts on individual and company dynamics with a future agenda. A breakdown of 92 sources that was studied in detail. So we had journal articles about 80, books 2, professional websites 4, reports 3, and conference papers 3. So we studied all this literature and we tried to find themes, patterns, and what sort of helped us in working from home. So there are about 10 different items that came out, the perspective and discussion, but obviously we don't have enough time to discuss all of it. So we took the main ones, the flexible work and remote practices. And this rapid transition to remote model did not allow for opportunities to train and to familiarize workers with the possible of work from home challenges, what sort of training now they should adapt themselves to work from home. The organizational performance and research has found that organizations who employ remote workers have the advantage of efficient supervisory arrangements for enhanced organizational performance. And this research also implied that there is an explicit tie connecting company performance and employee motivation. So we find that people are working more longer hours when they work from home than when they're working in the office. So organizational support and culture. So in terms of the relationship between the company support and culture, it can be understood that once the company support is deficient, adverse effects related to work culture, such as decreased productivity, will be a consequence. So here we're saying if the company don't train people on how to work from home and how to change their behavior aspects from home, then they will not see good working hours and good production. So lessons from a crisis and the road ahead. So this research indicated predictions that a shift to remote work is likely to continue, and we should consider now a window of opportunity to cautiously evaluate our abilities to create alternatives for advancement. Because as we move into the digital era, more and more people are starting to work from home, and companies are realizing it's costing them less money to rent expensive buildings and office space. And they find after training the people that their staff become more productive. So we created this pestle model and we added external factors that will also affect the job nature, organizational strategy, working from home in your family, and individual personalization. So factors in each of these groupings could influence telework and could add value if a comprehensive pestle analysis could be performed to provide a comprehensive list of influences and successors continue to work from remote places. So there are a few companies that are actually using this model, this framework, which we have developed. So some of the limitations and perspectives from this particular research, the findings are presented from the perspective of myself and my student. Since the inception of COVID-19, remote work permanency has become a reality for many number of workers, and therefore good quality evidence is lacking in some of the intricate flexible work practice domains. We understand not everybody can work from home because some companies you need to be in the company. For example, in logistics, you need to be in your warehouse. All right. So this research has limited date range for the inclusion of literature, which includes only 4 years, and that was between January 2020 and in December 2023, which may indicate an exclusion of meaningful earlier literature contributions. Recommendations for future research. We accept that the employees are somewhat adapted to remote work at this point. The lens must be fitted to adjust it with other areas, mostly of human resource affiliated themes for future research, such as work from home, leadership, and management dimensions. Some conclusions here. The study recognized that sustained optimum levels of worker morale and productivity and are meaningful for further flexible post-work pandemics. Employee motivation and job satisfaction are forecasters of efficient organizational performance levels and should reinforce work culture. Lessons from a crisis should be applied to the company challenges we inherited and must address it as a priority post-pandemic. In terms of application, training syllabi and policies should indicate ICT technical work support, working hours, and boundary management. That is my presentation today, colleagues, and this is Cape Town, South Africa, and my university is somewhere around in the background there. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?